lesson is 8.3, showing that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Today we're going to start off talking about some of the main properties in this lesson. They have a nice little diagram over here. It has the 5 qualities of a parallelogram that you must be aware of. You should be able to see a picture and align it with these statements. So underline these key words with me. The first one is show both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So the key thing, opposite sides are parallel. And it's noted here. Arrows mean that the opposite sides would be parallel to each other. The key word is another. Opposite sides are congruent. It has congruent marks on its sides. You can see the 2 marks on the long sides and the 1 mark on the short side. Number 3, we're familiar with this one too. Opposite angles are congruent. You can see the angle arc in the picture. When the opposite ones are congruent. You can also see the opposite ones be the same. Number 4 is a new one, though. Put a star by number 4. It's the one that stands out. It's the one we haven't discussed yet. It says one pair of opposite sides are both congruent and parallel. So only one pair. It could be the ones on horizontal pieces. They could have also done on these kind of diagonal pieces. Have the 1 mark followed by the arrow. This would have been acceptable too. Depending on how the picture is laid out is the one you should be visualizing. Number 5, show diagonals bisecting. They cut each other into 2 equal parts. Today you're going to see some graphs, and you're going to have to prove that it is a parallelogram. I mentioned number 4. It's one of the easier ones to prove. Number 1 is also another one you should star. These are the ones we like to prove whenever we have a graph. It makes our work a lot easier. So now let's start looking at example 1. Start using these properties. Example 1 talks about a basketball goal, and it wants you to focus on this shape in the back. Which property aligns with that picture? Look at your pictures real quick. Make sure you see which one matches with this one. The second one does. What's the second one say, though? What did we underline? Okay, so if you saw a picture like this and you would have to explain why, here's your explanation. Of why it's a parallelogram. You wouldn't say theorem number whatever. You would say opposite sides are congruent. You should be able to see the picture and realize that it's showing opposite sides are congruent. Example 2, not much harder. It should be even easier to identify because it's exactly like the properties. Which one is this one? This is the 4th one. What's the 4th one say? What's our explanation? One pair of opposite sides are both, here's how I would note it, congruent and parallel. You might want to write out that shorthand notation, that way you can save yourself time later. So they are congruent and parallel. Symbols make things go a lot faster. Checkpoint 1's pretty simple, so I'm going to go to checkpoint 2. On checkpoint 2, which picture does this correspond with? It's the 5th one. The 5th one states diagonal bisect each other. That's a nice full answer for that picture. You can see the diagonals cut each other into 2 equal parts. Next example is example 3. Doing a little math this time. In this one, we can see some diagonals inside. What's going on with those diagonals? What are they doing with each other? They're bisecting each other. So how would I set up this equation? 5x equals 2x plus 9. Good job. Solving out. Minus 2x from each side. get 3x equals 9. Last step would be, good, divide by 3 on each side. Okay, here's, though, what they would say on ACT. They wouldn't stop here. They would give you a little bit more. They would say, how long is PT? How long is PT? Oh, you substitute the x value, which is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Another question would be, how long is PR? 30. Oh, you get that 30 for PR. Those are good little extensions that you should be able to visualize and get pretty easily. All right, so there once again is our summary. And here's the most important problem. What I want you to do right now is make a sketch of this so you can analyze this problem real quick. When we analyze this graph, we have to determine which property we want to prove. Whenever we're proving these properties, we have to prove it with math, and then we have to state that property at the end. So I started 2 earlier. I started number 1 and number 4. Which one do you think we should prove? Number 2, I heard one person say, number 2 deals with finding side lengths. Lengths can be challenging sometimes. I recommended doing 1 or 4 earlier. Number 1 is actually the easiest. It deals with proving parallel. When you're proving parallel, what do you need to prove mathematically? You have to prove that opposite sides have the same slope. That's our goal if we're trying to prove number 1. So let's focus on KL right now. When we focus on KL, we need to say, or think about the slope. And remember, slope is always rise over run. So we're going to say the slope of segment KL. Watch how I note this. Subletters KL. KL is, now we have to look at the picture. Should we start at K or start at L? Why do we start at K? The furthest to the left. You start reading from left to right, same thing with finding slope. So, do we rise or fall to get to L? Since we rise, we're going to have a positive slope. We rise 1, 2, and we run 2. Positive 2 over 2 simplifies to 1. What other segment compare this one to? And M. The slope of NM is what we're going to find now. That's down here. Do I start at N or M? N's the furthest left. Do I rise or fall? I rise 2, run 2. The slope is the same. Good. I'm good with that opposite pair. I'll have to prove the other pair using the same procedure. So I need these 2 longer sides to have the same slope. I have to prove it with math. So how do we want to name this one? K. And now, which point should I start in this picture? It's the furthest left. Do I rise or fall? Fall means I'm going to have a negative slope. Or should I fall? 1, 2, 3, 4 units. I fall, and then I run 2 units. That simplifies to -2. Good. I got to find the slope of the other line that looks to be parallel. Got to make sure it is parallel. It's going to be the slope of LM. Again, it falls 4, runs 2. Slope of -2. Is this enough to say your answer is good? No. Kind of foreshadowed earlier on what else you need to state. State the property, exactly. You have to say opposite sides are parallel. The common mistake on this is some people will do the math and think they're done, and they're not. Or some people will just do the statement and they're done, and they're not. To get full credit, you have to do both the statement and the math to give a full proof. that's it for today.